Te reo ererangi o Te Mānia. This episode was produced in Otatahi by Plains Media, with support from New Zealand On Air.
Kia ora and welcome. Haere mai. This is Emergence News. My name is Nigel, and joining me in the studio here at Plains Media are John.
Good morning.
Good morning, John. And Peter. Hi there, Peter.
Hi there, Nigel.
And Peter, you look poised, ready to go. We've got a really interesting topic. We're going to talk about Ray 1. You might have noticed over previous episodes over the years, we've talked about the 7 rays. And today we're going to focus in on Ray 1, and Peter's going to tell us why that's such an important ray at this time. But the 7 rays, John, have you got a definition of the 7 rays? What does it say in the glossary of esoteric terms? What are the 7 rays?
The 7 rays are the
cosmic energies, aren't they?
I've got it right here. It's under rays. The 7 rays. According to the esoteric glossary, the 7 streams of universal divine energy, each the expression of a great life, whose interaction at every conceivable frequency creates the solar systems, galaxies, and universes. Movement of these energies in spiraling cycles draws all being into and out of manifestation, colouring and saturating it with specific qualities and attributes. Whoa.
And we have 3 rays of attribute, don't we, Peter?
Yes, that's right. And 4 rays of the lower, they're all aspects of the ray 3, actually.
Yeah. And we're going to look at one of the rays of attribute, which is Ray 1 today. And just could you give us a recap? We touched on it on a couple of programs back. What is, specifically, what is Ray 1?
The Ray 1 is the will of God. It carries with it the dual spectrum of duality, the love of God, and the Shiva aspect, the destroyer. The power of God will bring in the new age of Aquarius. The old worn-out attitudes of Pisces will be gradually replaced by Aquarius, using the aspiration of the former as a goal, but manifesting it on the physical plane as group goals and achievements. In other words, we're going to move from personal to group work. The leaders of nations often have Ray 1 in their makeup. Winston Churchill often criticised for his warmongering, and he did feel guilty at the fiasco of Gallipoli as First Lord of the Admiralty. Although a Ray 2 soul, his personality was Ray 1 and mental as well, and physical. So 3 Ray 1s, hard to handle.
Yeah, he must have been difficult to be around at times.
Yes, I would say so. And Mao had 4 Ray 1s, including soul. But remember that China itself is Ray 1 soul. So the whole country of China has a Ray 1 soul.
It's interesting he had 4 Ray 1s, Peter. I was having a look at the Ray 1s in the list before this program, and I couldn't find anyone else that had plenty having 2 and 3, but 4 Ray 1s in your makeup. He was a powerhouse.
That's right.
Chairman Mao, you mean? Yeah. He really tore down the structure of China, didn't he?
And look at the progress they've made in the last 200 years.
He really tore it down, yeah.
Yeah, like poverty in China was so widespread, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right. It was the peasant economy, wasn't it?
Look at them now. The progress is startling.
That's right, yeah. Henry VIII, of course, had 4 Ray 1s as well.
Yeah, had 8 wives.
And I think it must have had 1 for each wife or something. I don't know.
He must have, so he had 4 Ray 1s, Henry VIII.
Yeah.
Because I read a little bit about him, and he apparently was quite a an incredible individual. For his time, he was a superb athlete, superb horseman, superb swordsman. He had a whole lot of amazing qualities that gave him that real sense of leadership.
Yes, and arrogance.
And then, of course, his health deteriorated. But
a 1.6 degree initiate. And you're right, Peter. He had 4 rays: soul, personality, mental, and physical.
That's right.
A powerhouse.
He must have been. Yeah. And at that time, remembering that the point of initiation back in the days of history had more value than it does now. So a 3-degree initiate back in the times of Jesus in Palestine would have been a highly evolved individual.
And most of the apostles were 3-degree.
3 degrees, yeah. So when you look at Henry VIII at a 1.6, he would have been probably the most evolved person in the court of England at the time.
That's right. And of course, England has a Ray 1 personality. Great Britain has a whole.
It must do because of its imperialistic ways.
And it has a second Ray soul.
That's right.
So it's a 1-2.
Yeah.
And
so we're going to dominate you and hug you at the same time.
We'll hug you later.
Yeah, much later.
Much later.
Once the blood has drained.
Sorry, listeners, we're referencing the fact that the English and the United Kingdom and Great Britain, however you want to phrase it, has been a highly imperialistic nation for many, many hundreds of years.
Their colonial tendencies are well documented.
Well documented.
And we're products of that very country.
Aren't we? And if you want a humorous take on the British Museum, a British comedian called James Arcaster does a stand-up comic set where he criticises the British Museum because apparently people want their stuff back from the British Museum.
the chicken.
And his parting line is, "No, we aren't finished looking at it."
Ancient karmic responsibility.
Modern sociology through humour.
Peter, would you let me just indulge myself here for a moment? Indira Gandhi, 2-degree initiate. She was the Prime Minister of India in the 1970s. Mm-hmm. She had a Ray 1 soul personality, and her sub-ray, mental, was Ray 1 as well. She made quite an impact, and she was one of the first female prime ministers in the world, wasn't she?
Right, yes, she was. That's right, yes. In fact, Goya had 3 Ray 1s in his makeup.
Oh, the artist.
I mean, he had a Ray 1 soul, Ray 1 mental, Ray 1 physical,
That's incredible. Yeah. So tell us about Ray 1, Peter. Refresh me.
Oh, hang on. Jesus was a Ray 1 physical. Jesus was a Ray 1 physical.
Yes, that's right.
So what qualities would that give you, your physical equipment?
Well, very tough, I would say. It's a strength. It's a unrelenting strength. It's just like it may not be hugely physical necessarily, but the ability to carry on.
So resilience, maybe.
Yeah.
Really useful in that lifetime.
Yeah.
Yes. So Ho Chi Minh again. He's Ray 1 soul, but of course that's close to China, I guess, where the whole of the nation has Ray 1 soul.
Just looking at Jesus, 3 Ray 1s, Peter.
Yes,
personality, mental, and physical.
Yeah.
So he was
tough.
He was well equipped for the job.
Yeah,
indeed. And Baudelaire actually had, if you count the sub-rays as well, she had 4 Ray 1s in her makeup, 2 personality and mental, but also the sub-rays on the personality and mental were Ray 1 as well.
So it makes people very focused, very determined, and with a destructive element, with a breaking down element.
Yeah. It's interesting to note that the Ray 1 is actually governed by the Manu. All Ray 1 souls are under the auspices, under the direction, if you like, of the Manu. And the Manu is the one who is responsible for, among other things, many other things, responsible for raising and lowering continents on our planet.
Wow.
So he's got a fairly big job there.
Heavy lifter.
And I guess that reshaping the continents would take a fair bit of power.
Indeed, yes, just imagine it.
Well, because Ray 1 is will.
Yes, the will of God.
On the higher level. On the higher level, Ray 1 is will and purpose, as Peter just said, and on the lower level, in its negative aspect, it is simply desire.
Oh, so...
And you just think of some of the politicians in power at the moment.
When we look out over the world at the moment and we look at the people that are grabbing the media at the moment in the political and economic spheres.
Responding to the lure of possession.
Elon Musk at the moment, he's kind of faded a wee bit, but he's now in the background still. Jeff Bezos. We're hearing a lot about Putin, Zelensky. We're hearing a lot about, obviously, Trump.
Netanyahu.
We're hearing a lot about Netanyahu and the circle of people that surround him. So there's that, to me, Peter, there seems to be a lot of Ray 1 there.
Yes, indeed. Yes, the destroyer aspect is rampant in that part of the world.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Zelensky's the destroyer, but he would have to have a high degree of willpower to resist the pressure and energy, destructive energy that is coming his way, coming at him, right? Because not only is the might of Russia leaning on him, so's the might of America leaning in on him. And I guess there must be people in Ukraine that are going, come on, mate, let's just fold. Let's take the money and fold. You know, he must be under incredible pressure. So, it would be interesting to know where he sits in that ray structure.
Yes, that's right.
Because he's like a knob of granite. He's like a knob of granite on an ocean, on a beachfront, isn't he?
Yes.
There's all this shifting sand around him. The tide comes in and the tide goes out. And this little bloke standing there with no suit.
And he just keeps getting up.
He's just standing there.
Yeah.
He must be made of stuff.
Didn't he agree to go at the election when he came into power to actually favour going towards Russia?
No, I think his problem was he favoured the West over Russia, and that's where he's come into conflict.
Yeah, the Americans.
The guy that he won the election over was Russian-focused, and Zelensky was Western-focused.
Yeah.
And that's what's offended Putin.
That's why he's come into conflict, But anyway, Ray 1, this is amazing stuff.
It's surprising, isn't it?
Who else have you got there?
Yeah. Yes, well, we've talked about Henry VIII, which are included, and Bodicea.
Can I just mention a couple of high initiates?
You guys are just tossing around Ray 1 like it's a basketball.
Helena Blavatsky, she was a Ray 1 soul and mental, and Helena Roerich was a Ray 1 too.
Yes, that's right. But, you know, the Lord Maitreya has said that he will be adding some Ray 1 as he seeks to bring humanity closer to the will of God. So it will be not the destructive part of Ray 1.
The higher part.
But the will of God. The will of God to love, the will to love. And so the Ray 1 has many purposes, I guess you might say. It's not just the two that I first mentioned.
Yeah. Because it's not a common ray, as you said earlier.
No, but it's not actually in incarnation at the moment. It's, in the background. But there is always aspects of it.
Sir Edmund Hillary, New Zealander, first man to step at the summit of Everest with Hilary Tenzing, 1.3 degree initiate, and he had a Ray 1 mental. That's the will. He had a very strong will, that guy. Yeah, tremendous. Joan of Arc, personality Ray 1, 3.3 degree initiate.
Oh.
French woman. She was amazing, wasn't she?
Died at 19.
Yeah, but look what she achieved.
Manifested all this before she was...
Died at 19?
19, the Brits killed her.
Those English people, they've got so much stuff.
How would you be up on a bloody pile of wood and someone's there with matches?
3.3 degree initiate. So she was really ensouled as well.
Soul infused, 3.3. So that's the same as Benjamin Creme.
Yeah.
So she would have been a very important vehicle on the planet at the time in France. Let's go back 7,000 years before Christ. The avatar, the Greek Hermes, 4-degree initiate at that time. Well, he would have been like a walking god in those days, wouldn't he?
Yes.
He had 2 ray ones, Peter, personality and mental.
That's right.
So, that ray has been a component of many initiates over history.
Right. Well, he calls himself the Atlantean, and he produced the emerald tablets, I believe.
Hermes,
yes. Ah. But he was what they call the thrice-born one. He was, there was other, what's the one from the Bible as well? I just forget. But anyway, it's most fascinating story to look into Hermes.
Well, it's good looking at history with our ancient colleague here in the studio.
The ancient in the corner.
Have you ever worked out close, what decade he comes from?
No, God, no.
Earlier,
no idea.
Earlier.
I want to mention one other here, Peter, that you'll be interested in. Oliver Cromwell. Oh. He was a 2.1 degree initiate. He had 2 ray ones. His soul, he was a ray 1 soul, also his personality. But he was around the same time as Francis Bacon.
Right, yeah.
Do you think they were chatting?
I think they probably had a conversation or two together.
2.1 degree initiate. He was really destructive in that English. It was the English Civil War, wasn't it?
Yes.
Where he tried to form not quite a republic, but he took power from the monarchy.
Well, maybe they did have 1 or 2 conversations, but they weren't.
They weren't nice conversations.
Yes.
So Ray 1 as well in his makeup. So he had attempted, I guess, quite a revolution within England at the time.
Yes, well, if you go through the Ray 1s, there's quite a lot of rebels and revolutionaries listed there, isn't there? As well as the dictators. So it's a breaking down, as you say, and challenging the status quo with that strong will.
Yes.
And it can be high or low, unfortunately.
I think the problem that we have as low-level observers is that all we see is the destructiveness of a Ray 1 personality. We don't see the long-term upside. And maybe, Peter, you said before about it needs to break down before the new can come through. Maybe we don't understand that as a culture. It's not in our mind belt, is it, that idea that, actually, I've got to break a few things before I can build a new one.
Yes, well, as a builder, I can see that because we've had to knock down parts of buildings and to revitalise them and that sort of stuff.
And he does this in the middle of winter. Peter.
Yeah.
He does this in the middle of... I bet you didn't have any heaters going at Clyde Road during those frosty mornings.
Well, no, they were very late in arriving. It's usual on the construction site. As soon as you go there to do anything, they turn the power off.
So what do you operate all your tools off? Batteries?
Well, a lot of the tools today are batteries, of course, and generators, of course, have to be brought in. But it always amuses me. The first thing that happens, lights go out.
Do you have any Ray 1, Peter?
No. Very short on that.
Short on Ray 1.
I would have thought Peter had Ray 1 body, but he's actually a double 7.
7, got
not 007, but double 7.
7 on the physical, yeah.
But you were talking about the higher level and examples of the Ray 1 infused individuals that have done a lot of good. Well, we've talked about Blavatsky, we've talked about Roy Rich, we've talked about Jesus. There's also John the Baptist. He was a 3.3 degree initiate. There is also Michelangelo, 3.3 degree initiate. He was a Ray 1 soul. Abraham Lincoln, a 3.3 degree initiate. Now, Abraham Lincoln, he was amazing. He had 3 Ray 1s, soul, mental and physical.
Wow. So he really revolutionised. Wow. He really shook things up in colonial America at the time, didn't he?
Especially
Took on slavery.
Oh.
So you can see why he needed 3 Ray 1s.
Yeah, Hercules. He was a Ray 1 soul, mental and physical. That's 8,000 years ago, so we're going even further back into history there, Peter.
Yes, well, he was called the perfect disciple.
Was he?
Hercules.
Yes. Hercules, yeah.
Why?
And he's still with us, actually, at the higher echelons of things.
What is he now?
Well, he's right up there chatting with God, I think, or with Senate Camara.
So he's remained in this planetary...
Yes.
Has he?
He's on the line of Earth service, obviously.
Ah.
Yeah.
Do you know his name now? Or they still call him Herc?
No, he probably doesn't want to be called Hercules anymore.
Is he running...
He's probably a bit over it after 9,000
Is he running the
years.
gym at Shambhala?
Yeah, so, yes, he's somewhere up there in Shambhala.
Hopefully he hasn't put his shoulder out, John.
Stop. Just stop.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is Emergence News, and we're just about time. It's just about time, John, to wrap things up. But that was tremendous. Ray 1, what a subject! All those characters in our history. Most of them have been influenced by that ray of aspect, Ray 1. Now, another subject which is talked about a lot through history is human rights. What have you got there, Peter?
Yes, this article on human rights is by Benjamin Krem's master, and it's from the latest magazine, Share International. The question of human rights is at the centre of modern man's problems. In the past, the social structures dominated the lives of the individual and set up a hierarchical series of relationships in which everyone knew his place. The wife obeyed the husband, the man obeyed his lord, the lord obeyed and carried out the will of the king, while the clergy acted as intermediaries between God and man. These relationships, while artificial and imposed, served the needs of societies struggling to find their identities and place in the world. Today, all of this has changed, apart from a few areas in which the ruling groups cling to the old forms, often at the cost of civil dissension and war. The peoples have asserted their right to self-determination. They have taken upon themselves the responsibility for just government, and by various procedures representation can make their wills known. This new freedom has set up a number of tensions which await resolution. Everywhere the cry for more freedoms sounds forth, answered by an equally strident call for order and the rule of law from the groups concerned with maintaining the existing structures. Altogether, new approaches are required to harmonise the aims of those opposing groups. That such harmony may be slow and difficult to attain must be accepted. That many conflicting viewpoints must be reconciled is self-evident. Yet while we await the solution of these problems, it might be advisable to set down some basic principles, some guidelines, without which the problems may appear to be intractable. The first consideration is that the laws governing society should be fair and applicable to everyone. Without such basic justice and impartiality, no one can be expected to observe the law. Frequently today, there is one law for the rich and another for the poor, a certain recipe for social strife. A further need is for the laws to be known and understood and couched in language accessible to all. Too often are men held prisoner and judged to be guilty of breaching laws, long outmoded and known only to specialists. The greatest need is for even closer identity of interest between the individual and society. Only thus can the freedom of the one and the stability of the other be preserved. How can this best be achieved? The United Nations organization has formulated a code of human rights which, if implemented, would go far to resolve the existing social tensions and to provide the basis for a just and stable society. So far, this Universal Declaration of Human Rights remains but a dream for millions of disposed and disenfranchised people in every country of the world. The aim must be to establish with all possible speed these basic rights in all nations. With the acceptance of the principle of sharing, this becomes possible. No longer need men fight for the right to work, to feed their families, for a measure of control over their destinies. At a stroke, the acceptance of sharing will heal the divisions, end the confrontations, and cure the malady of the present situation, leading men out of the morass in which they have floundered. Make sharing then the goal for your endeavour. Show the world needs now, more than ever in its history, the establishment of this just and basic principle, through the acceptance of which alone man will find and demonstrate his divinity.